Hi everybody, welcome back to the Gallagher Shot YouTube channel, back with a brand new video, something a little different, something which we haven't done for a long time on the channel, but here we go with a predicted starting 11 for Manchester City versus Newcastle United. So, difficult weekend just gone. Newcastle didn't win that cup. We were all desperate for that. We made the final, which is great news all around, but unfortunately, we couldn't get the job done on the day. So now, up comes Man City, as if it wasn't tough enough. So Manchester City doing really well in the league is an understatement. Fighting between themselves and Arsenal as to who will lift that Premier League trophy. But can Newcastle get in the way and stop that from happening? Fingers crossed. So here we go. Starting 11. Nick Pope returns in goal. Karius, great game against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup final. But Nick Pope is our number one goalkeeper. He comes straight in. It was only a one-match ban that he was given against Liverpool. So we're picking that red card up. A lot of people thought it would have been 2-3 games. No, it's just the one game. Unfortunately, it was that Carabao Cup final, but it is what it is. The defence, a lot of debate in regards to who starts here, because a lot of criticism coming the way of Dan Burn. It looks like a lot of teams have been targeting our left-hand side, and Dan Burn has been the arrow point and the spearhead of those attacks when the opposition have been coming forward. Dan Burn's done really well this season. I think it is at the point now where are we being found out? Is this a chance now where we'll look at bringing Matt Target back into the team because he's back in training and he has been injured for a number of weeks now, but he is back in training. I think it might just be a little bit too soon. I think Eddie Howe will probably stick with Dan Burn. I'm personally sticking with him. Let's see what happens against Manchester City. I think a lot of this will be backs against the wall, so I wouldn't expect Dan Burn to go forward. Not that he does anyway much, but I think we're going to have a solid back line there. In regards to centre back partnerships, Sven Botman's always going to be in there. Fabian Shaw, a bit of a doubt. He did get a canny black eye in that game at Wembley, but he gets a head injury every single week. So I think, providing injury free, it will be Botman and Fabian in there. Right back, Kieran Trippier. Similar to Dan Burn, Trippier has been not to the best standard that we have seen so far from Trippier. I think he has dropped in regards to performance levels, but he is captain on the field in the absence of Lascelles not getting any game time. So Trippier is our captain. We know that he has experience, he's got class, and we can't drop Trippier. It's impossible to drop Trippier. Of course it is. So Trippier starts for me. Centre of the field. Once again, debate around this one, and because Joe Willock is now fit, we did see him come on in the cup final. He didn't look fit. He looked massively off the pace. So I'd be very shocked to see Willock starting. Hence why I'm going for a centre three of Joe Linton, Sean Longstaff, and Bruno Gomes once again. We'll look at injury concerns. Bruno did go off in that final, and has he picked up an injury? We yet to hear from anyhow. His press conference will be on Friday morning, as usual. So it's a flip of a coin for Bruno. Reports saying that he is injured, but then same reports saying that people have bumped into him around Tyneside, and he said that he's fine. We have no idea as of yet, but I think the middle three will be the two Brazilian lads and Sean Longstaff. I think Sean Longstaff's done very well. Once again, Longstaff was taken off at half time in that cup final. Eddie Howe said it was tactical, so I would expect Sean Longstaff to start. Now we'll go on to the wings. I'm mentioning wings, but it is Manchester City, so I'm guessing these lads will probably look at hitting on the counter attack and sitting in a middle of five really a lot of this game. But I don't think we can drop St. Maximin. Maxi has to start for me. He got man of the match against Liverpool. I thought he had a decent game against Man United. So Maxi starts for me. I think if we're going to hit teams on the break, Maxi has to play. We'll look on the right-hand side. And similar to what I mentioned about Trippier, just behind him, that Miggy's performances have dropped as well. Graft is still there. He's still working his arse off throughout the game. Of course he is. But I think sometimes on that right-hand side, and we've been blessed and had a really good spell with the likes of Bruno Trippier and Almiron on that right and working in triangles. We haven't seen that for a while. We need that to come back. It will be very difficult against Manchester City to do that to our best potential. But Almiron, I know he's had a great season. I know he scored lots of goals for us. But that's dropping now. Like I mentioned, the work rate's still there. That you'll never lose that with Almiron. But we need him to go forward a lot more. We need him to stop slowing the game down, because I think he can do at times. I think we've been found out in regard to the balls over the top from Trippier to Almiron. Fingers crossed we're getting opportunities against Manchester City where we can play to the best we can do on that side. But I'm yet to see it in the last handful of games. But yeah, Almiron, he starts for me. Up top, I was in two minds on this one with my predicted 11 and who I would go for, because Callum Wilson hasn't looked the same player since returning from the World Cup. I think he's used a lot of his energy in preparation prior to the World Cup to get into the Gareth Southgate's team, and he got in there, and deservedly so. But since he's returned, he's been well off the pace, and I think every Newcastle fan will probably agree with us. Isak's came in. Isak's performed well when he has came in. Not great, but he has performed well, probably better than what Wilson has. But I think this game, we're going to have to go with Callum Wilson, because I think Callum Wilson plays the game as that lone striker a hell of a lot better than what Isak will do. I think Isak loves the ball to his feet, facing goal, whereas I think Callum Wilson can have his back to goal, challenge defenders, win the ball, control it, and play others in and move on. I'm not sure if we'll see that with Isak just yet. Completely different strikers. So I think this game probably suits Callum Wilson a little bit better than what it does with Isak, with how we will probably set up. So yeah, Callum Wilson starts for me. I think if I had been a different opposition, if I had been somebody lower down the table, middle of the table, I think you probably would say Isak come in. But because of how we will probably approach this game, it will be Callum Wilson. I'd be very shocked if it's not, unless it's, once again, injury concern, illness, whatever it may be. Predicted result. I can't see anything but a Manchester City win. I really can't. If you had asked us this before the break for the World Cup, then it's anybody's game. It really is. But I think with our performances of late, and they have been dropping, and we can't score goals, we're really struggling to score goals right now. I think Man City might have a field day against us. I hope I'm completely wrong, but I am going to go with a Manchester City victory, which will be 3-1. I think we'll probably nick one at some point in the game. I don't even think it'll be close. And that's probably the first time this season I've said that. Performances haven't been great. We'll have to be honest with that. They haven't been great. They haven't been bad, but they just haven't been what we used to earlier in the season. And I think Manchester City will just be way too much. And there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. Manchester City are light years ahead of us at this moment in time. Fingers crossed I'm completely wrong, and we'll take the game to them and cause some issues there. The lads will probably want to prove a point on the back of that defeat at Wembley. But it's just a shame it's Manchester City next. Fingers crossed, though. I might be completely wrong. But yeah, I will see you next time. You will see a match preview coming your way as well. That's currently being recorded. It might actually be out before this one is as well. So if it is, go and have a look. That is 4 lads recording that preview, and they'll be giving more in detail look at what I have there tonight. Go back to listen to Over Smile and Faces podcast as well. That was recorded on Monday night, where we reminisce about that trip to Wembley. Plenty more stuff to come. Watch what you're doing. Ta-ra.